And so we now had an ongoing project of over 13 trillions. Some of them were sukuk, some of them budgetary provisions, over a number of years, some NMPC tax credit, some, private sector tax credit, PPP, EPC plus F, all these funding models total to over 2,600 and over 13 trillions. And we now made very serious inflection after the fuel subsidy was removed, and then the challenges of the naira. And that made it mandatory that all projects ought to be looked into. What the conditions of contract allows for contractors is only VOP, to allow for VOP, which means that in the contract, if the VOP has been exhausted, you can now apply for more VOP, variation on price. But this variation on price covered only about 4 or 5 items, like the fuel, diesel, bitumen, cement. And so the ministry looked at it realistically, and we felt that there is no way you will ask a contractor, to use the same price of earthwork, as at when the job was awarded. And by the way, some of the jobs have lasted some 18 years, some 11 years. And so when you now do VOP or price review, you'll be getting sometimes 500%. And it's very embarrassing both to government, to ministry. And it's not possible for anyone to defend that. Issues are taken at face values. And so we appeal to Mr. President to do 2 things. One is that we give our envelope in 2024 budgetary provisions to keep all the heritage projects alive. President directed that should be done. And that's why you see most of our projects are ongoing projects in the budget, but with very poor budgetary allocation. 50 million, 100 million. You have 100 million for an ongoing project that is about 100 kilometers. But we had to do that, believing that there could be, other ways that we could fund this project, including PPP. And then we also have some new projects, especially the constituency projects of the National Assembly, which constitute over 90% of our new projects. And yet, these constituency projects are also of very poor budgetary allocation, 100 million, 200 million. In 2024 budgetary allocation, we have less than 30 projects that have over 2 billion allocation. And that's why I say that it's a palliative budget. You can't really use that budget to achieve much. But the budget is also very useful in certain emergency works, because a chain is as strong as the weakest link. In the sense that if you have a beautiful road, 100 kilometers, and the road is broken into 2 by flood, if you don't fix it, you can't use it. So that's where the usefulness of the such emergency projects or low budgetary provision to certain emergency projects will come up handy. In our society, we are very good at comparing. The best minister, the worst minister, we are called differently. Our assignments are differently. And this ministry competes with no ministry, but we are very much committed into innovative ways of thinking and doing things differently. And for those who care to know about what we have achieved, we'll be able to say that, maybe upper week when the Minister of Information Committee will be calling us. We've really achieved a lot. In this ministry, we work on Saturdays, we work on Sundays, we work almost 21 hours every day. because we inherited a lot of tasks. We had 330 projects that Mr. President approved on an emergency basis, totaling over 260 billion. As of today, we have completed over 80% of such projects. We have. And so if we are to ask Mr. President to come over to commission them, nothing else will be done. And I think that a cumulative project of over 260 billion is quite a milestone achievement for this ministry and for Mr. President. So I'm directing the PAM Secretary to direct all the regional directors to do the commissioning of these projects throughout the nation. They commission it, they put it in social media and put it in television so that Nigerians will see what we are doing. On new projects, we've completed some bridges. You know, like the Shandam bridge, we have completed it. And so many other projects. And so, when we present our scorecard, the society will see the much we have done. But that's not why we are here. But very important is for the directors to, you know, after the Salah holiday, they need to go around and engage and commission all these completed projects, because it will be too much for me, you know, not to talk of Mr. President to engage in the commissioning. But from July, mega completed projects will be inviting the President every month across the 6 geopolitical zones to complete the commission. But my discussion with you here, directors, together with and also the contractors, you know, here, you know, being supported by directors, is to understand that we have a new situation. We cannot continue to do things the way we've been doing it. Whether we're doing it nicely or badly, we have to adopt a new policy to match with the situation. Mr. President had graciously approved review of our projects, and our projects unit prices were offered to the contractors, not contractors offering us. We offered to them. And we offered to you based on the approvals we had gotten on similar projects by BPP and by FEC. And so one thing that is our policy is that no contractor in Ministry of Works will be treated differently. Whether you're an indigenous contractor or you are a foreign contractor, so far you can turn cement to the right grade and place it rightly, you're a good contractor. We check it and it's good. And that is what is serving us. Because we will not have any reason to offer to National Assembly, to Mr. President, or the public, if in a particular location there are two contractors that are working and we have given them different prices for similar projects. We will not survive it. So we were appealing to you to understand our situation. There may be some of you that the situation, you know, may be so harsh if you've been used to very easy money. And so our advice is that you can, you know, wait to such a time we start cruising. Then you can come up again. But you will not force the ministry to give you the price probably you've been expecting or you have been doing. We won't be able to do that. When we came on board, we were confronted with certified certificates of 1.5 trillion. Even though contractors have not been able to come to defend that. But we don't want to owe contractors. And because we don't want to owe you, we want to offer you what we can pay you based on the economic realities. And we don't want you to continue to write and we write delay tactics. A lot of you don't have equipment and personnel on site, and you're using delay tactics to keep the people suffering. Until today, no project has ever stopped because of paucity of funds. When a project has expired, in line with clause 44 of the general conditions of contract, it's at the discretion of the client to renew or to have a new project contract signed. And so when a project expires and we are not extending it, it's our right to say the project has expired. We are also rescoping projects. And we are directed today, and I want the minutes of this meeting to be kept, that all contracts that have, apart from the legacy projects of Mr. President, 3 of them, but every contract that has dual carriageway, both of them can no longer go on at the same time. We have to take one carriageway and continue with it and conclude it. Where one carriageway is in existence, we will be maintaining that carriageway while we continue the new carriageway construction. If you are carrying the 2 carriageways together, we may not have the immediate funds to take the 2 carriageway. It's better to take one and they take it to the end so that the public will be managing that. While we now come back to continue, we are not taking the job. We come back to continue the other one based on the availability of funds. And we frown at people that leave the carriageway and concentrate on drainage. We want the carriageway for people to be using it. Then we can come back to the drainage. So the amount of drainage that we are doing, must be in line with the amount of pavement you are doing. No director is going to process any certificate more than the amount of drainage that is achieved. These are some policies we are using to see how we can move our road sector forward. Variation on price. This is a killer spot. Variation on price. The ministry is doing everything to see how we can do away with this variation on price. But we will not allow contractors to suffer. In the states, I was a governor, there was nothing like variation on price. Yes, prices could be reviewed. But what is very fashionable in Ministry of Works is variation on price, and that's why no project is moving. But let me announce that the asphalt we give, the earthwork we give, the concrete we give are based on 1,700 naira to $1. So it doesn't attract any variation on price. And we have met and we've directed local contractors who may need help to come. We also have to develop our local contractors to compete. Where your projects have not been reviewed, yes, we continue with the variation on price. But we can't review the projects at the mercy of Mr. President. And immediately we give you the job. Then you start writing for variation on price. We will not do that. We are appealing to you to understand our plight. We are going to be dead serious about timetable to the project. It's quite disheartening, and I don't want to mention names. But the people of Benin Wari are suffering. The people of Lokoja to Benin are suffering. And the contractors are playing, games. Drugs are falling down. It's not as if the government is not paying. And same with so many other locations. Our agreement is that our directors will now move to these regions and stay there 3 weeks and push the contractors. We'll be very courageous to terminate contracts of contractors that we continue to play games. We've realized that many contractors do not have equipment. Some have up to 10 projects. And so they keep us with a game, because they don't have personnel, they don't have equipment. The minimum acceptable equipment to every project. And I believe with the meeting we have done that directors are going to checkmate this. If we continue the way we have been pretending in the past 4 months, we will achieve nothing for this country. It's a time to wear a different kind of, cap and help this country. The money is not there, and we are unwilling to give it to you. We have to make do with what we have. If you are so big a company and you cannot accept our condition, you can wait. Very soon, things will change. And don't be quoting laws for me to keep us down. The law is made for man. Even before somebody is condemned to death, it takes a lot of effort. But by quoting funny, misinterpreted clauses, our people are being killed on the road. I commend Julop Beja very highly. Some of you thought we are going to be quarreling. But yesterday we resolved a lot of our issues, and by this week, the Abuja Kano work will resume. I thought you would make a clap. Yes, we have resolved. Mobilization. I want you to remove your mind on advance payment, please. The Procurement Act says the client may give advance payment. The client may give advance payment. And we are willing to give advance payment to contractors who are very serious. But if we give you contract and you don't go to site and start permanent work, you are waiting for mobilization, we will terminate the contract. Because advance payments or mobilization is not part of the contract. It's at the discretion of the client. And the reason why in giving you jobs we ask for your financial capacity is to prove that you have the capacity to start. We're not saying we will not give you, but it's not your right. And so do not fail to go and do your job because advance payment was not immediately made to you. It is at the discretion of the client. And when we are giving you advance payment, you will accept the conditions that will come with advance payment, or you forget about it. We've directed for all these things to go into a bid document, so that if you are picking the big document, you will know whether you want to work or you don't want to work. We don't want you to get the contract and then we start quarreling. They should all be in the bid document. And so when we give you advance payment, if it's 30%, that 30% will not enjoy VOP or review of price. That is part of the condition. And how we recover it, it will also be our own business. In the sense that we will decide that we will not generate certificate for you until you have done job to the percentage we have mobilized you. So we decide how we recover the advance payment. Delays in projects, if our big contractors are going to be, delaying the jobs, we will reach local contractors and pieces the jobs and give it to them, and they will do it. I did it in Ebonyi State, and the roads are still standing. No one is indispensable, and we please should not behave as such. There are so many good contractors, those who have, accepted our conditions. I saw what, I don't know the organization, whether they said that construction organization, they were demarketing me. But it can only be on pages of newspaper. They are not party to agreement. And they are shameless. People that we say they are better because of a pot of porridge. Our people are dying on the roads. And you want us to give prices that government cannot pay. And you call yourself an organization because you've collected peanuts. One of our problems in this country is lack of patriotism. America, we say, America, my country. And the ministry is fighting and doing everything to bring down the cost of construction and they give quality work to the society. And some people are against it. And yet, when people die on the road, you insult us. Ministry of Works or Road is not only problem of this country. So there are other many problems of the country which the president must attend to. So he's not giving all the money to works. So the little has given to us, we'll be able to manage it within the limit of our ability. We don't know it all. Some of you have been on projects for 18 years, and we have devised a means to tackle you. Now, we are not going to accept any partial handover unless where the employer directs. Because if you have 100 kilometers of road, we have to split it into 4 to commission. So you finish 25%, we can come and commission. But that will not relieve you of your responsibility to maintain that road until you finish it. So if we allow you to be on a road for 18 years, you have to maintain the road with your money. So the way we have caught you in that act is to say that, yes, no partial handover. And if we default in any of the contract, obligations, we are not funding the project. You can demand for termination by mutual agreement. Yes, if we don't have the money to fund you, and we have no concrete, idea of when we will get money to fund you, instead of you to stay on site and be counting interest for us, and you are not working, and the project is not moving, and people are dying, it should activate a clause that we've inserted our contract, and that is a clause that is there, but a bit modified, termination by mutual agreement. But if you are staying by faith, we don't mind, but you have to waive the rights of those our defaults. I don't want to mention the contractor, but the contractor said we are owing him 48 billion, and he says interest, exchange differential, and he augmented it to 325 billion. We have since settled anyway. But these are things we don't want to see. So if we don't have money to pay you and we are not prepared to wait, you can call for termination. But if you are staying, then you must maintain the project and then you have to waive, our default. It's like a marriage that is not working and there is no hope must be dissolved. But you cannot insist, and there is violence, and all kinds. You say, no, I will stick. No. It's not good. Even the 3 legacy projects, the Lagos Calabar, we have cut down the project size to 6 lanes, especially from sections 2, 3, 4, and going forward. It shows you that we mean business. Some people have been writing that we stopped the project. No project is stopped. In fact, as we are talking now, the over 4 kilometers of concrete road is being completed on 6 lanes. And where we had the MTN and Africa, through Africa cable at Chenage 20, Okuaja community. We saved both Okuaja community and we also saved the entire cables. So we had to reroute not to the new alignment, not to the gazetted alignment. We went far away from the two, and then we established a new pathway. And we came back to our new alignment at kilometer 25. So the work is going and it's moving smoothly. We've paid a total compensation of close to 10 billion. We are not owing, and the contractor is highly commended for very beautiful job and commitment and being very reasonable. Even when we change alignment, it does not tax us to increase cost. Section 3 and 4 are being finalized, but we're going to do stakeholders engagement in either Cross River or Akwa Ibom, because that is where those sections will get started, so that we can initiate procurement, but the design is almost completed. The Sokoto Badagry president has given a marching order to start the design, and it's also going to be in 6 lanes with a train track by the side for future development. And people have been asking, what is the economic value there? We have a lot of irrigation opportunities. We have a lot of agricultural land. We have a lot of water for both irrigation and power. And it's also a corridor for African trade route, Benin Republic, from Badagry all through. A lot of opportunities. And let me even tell people that, darken counsel without knowledge, that these projects are investment. They have inherent return on investment. They do. By May 29th, 2025, we would have completed section 1 of Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, and we're going to engage it. Apart from the land that we are going to acquire for tourism, factories, industries, when we tow that route, within 10 years, we recover the cost of the money. So it is investment. And it's coming with foreign, funding also, partly Nigerian funding. And when we have inflection, America is an example. You spend in infrastructure, and then you bring in funds that have capacity to reinvent itself. And all these roads we are constructing in sections, they are also being linked with the existing roads. So there are a lot of advantages. We have the one that is a point it developed from the African Trans-Sahara route, which is from Enugu, Abakaliki, Goja, Cameroon, and it's running through, Ebonyi State, Benue State, Nasarawa State, Kogi State, Benue, Kogi, Nasarawa, and to Abuja, 461 kilometers. The design is also ongoing. And so it is investment, and it's going to attract, counterpart funding, foreign exchange. So these are the things I feel that we need to bring to your attention. And it is not a decree, it is an appeal. I don't know how best to let you see, the state of our nation and the state of our roots and the funding challenges. I don't know how best to let you see it. And we have decided to prioritize our projects. A project that doesn't have funding sukuk or budgetary, enough budgetary provision, we cannot review it. We are standing it down. That's the directive of FEC. So going forward, we are going to be standing a lot of projects that do not have funding. And we compile them and send to Mr. President. The ones that have funding are the projects we are going to review. And we're going to prioritize, budgetary allocations, taking some projects on priority basis, zone by zone or state by state for completion. When we complete few, we go to another one. So for those who may be affected, they will have opportunities to take over the jobs of those who may not want to align with our new policies and with our challenges. So these are the things I said I will let you know, so that if you have a question to answer here, or you want to discuss it with my directors or my PAM secretary or with me in the office, we'll be willing. But if there are questions, we'll be willing to answer you. Again and again and again is to appeal to our contractors. We are pleading with bended knees to see our situations. The president and the public will be more encouraged if we can give them some rules based on the present commitment. All this hide and seek is not good. It's not good. I've been a contractor, I've been a consultant, administrator, so I know the games. I know the games. Let's stop playing games. Our people are suffering. Our people are dying. The cost of doing similar projects in the state is like half. Why should states do beautiful jobs at half cost, and at the center, we are multiplying the cost by 2 and they're hiding under VOP? States have done very beautiful jobs. And some of you are working in the states. You take their cost, there's no VOP in the states. Why are we so much, we wouldn't allow the federal government to breathe? Let the challenged breathe, please. Yes. We know we are challenged, and we are begging you to understand with us. Understand with us. We are making a lot of motion, there's no movement. It will have to stop. Please. But on a more serious note, first is to thank the public for alerting us. Again, to inform the public that within 24 hours we have replaced it. Buildwell Nigeria Limited replaced it for Ministry of Works at no cost. So it's been done within 24 hours. We also had a report from the public, which we appreciate, on the bridge between Lagos and Ibadan that was flooded a few days back. We have rectified it, and there is no more flood there. And that was done within 12 hours. The question you asked is still the lack of patriotism we are talking about. We put, when Beja, disengaged, we put a local security contractor there. And so we have reported to the security agencies to question the security company why that thing happened. But it showed the level of wickedness. In Termination Bridge, we fixed a relieved decorative light on the floor. A beauty to behold at night, so that if you are stressed as the Minister of Works and you're on that road, you will have some relief, going on it. It will take your attention, and then the stress will be off. People had to go and they exhume it. So it shows, how low we are in our patriotism, for this country. But we are working on that. In the next few days or weeks, we would have completed the Termination Bridge CCTV. so that we can checkmate what is happening there. I saw in a distance, they say an American attempted suicide on that Termination bridge. So when we checkmate such, and we have less than 5 minutes response time, from our security agencies, we are going to keep at the observation room. We're going to have boats, going to have pickups, and all sorts of security mixtures, at the observation room. We are doing the same thing at, the Termination bridge. We are installing CCTV camera too, and changing the light to solar light. Because if there was no light there, then it's possible to happen. But the cost of diesel. So we're handling all that. We are also working on Murtala Mohammed, bridge. What you saw at Termination bridge is what is going to happen over there. And we take it little by little, and we cover all the ocean. No free money in Ministry of Works. Where you work is where you shop. That's why they call it workshop. So work, shop. So no free money in Ministry of Works any longer. So they're not harsh. And when we do everything to support the indigenous contractors, for some of you that have concrete roads and we have budgetary provisions, we can give you advance payment with affidavit from the court so that you can buy the correct concrete equipment. It's my duty to also develop indigenous contractors. I have that presidential directive. I will do that so that they will compete with international companies. And so we have a balanced argument. Last question. Oh, okay. Yes, go ahead. Talk at the here.
My own is about welfare. Well, I'll ask my question first, sir. Sir, by next next month, sir.
You say welfare?
No, I will talk about that, sir. Okay. Well, let me ask my question first, sir.
Yes.
So, by August 21,
yes,
you'll be a year in office. So I remember when you resumed.
August 25, is it?
25, no, 24, sir. That's what.
24, yes.
Yes. You'll be 1 year in office.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the projects you have executed Kanu, Abuja, Kaduna, Kanu.
Mm.
What is the long-term plan? Yes, I want to put your notice that most of the projects we that we are tasked with this ministry, we don't know where they are cited. But we have been reading and we have reported extensively on them. So how we suggest, and I will plead that when else you are visiting, you are inspecting those projects, some of us will carry along so that we have the first-hand information about this. Thank you, and God bless you.
Yes, what we are going to do, and I want my directors to put me on tax on this, all caste personnel. We are going to ask you to have 12, committees. We have 12 regional directors, and I think 2 special destinations, so about 14. I want you to go and examine these projects of the contractors, and you have to examine it, you have to speak the truth, so that you fish out those who have been pretending, publish it to the public, and then direct us on what to do. So I want to get the list of the 14 people from you, the 14 committees. We need to do this. We need to do this. And then we should even do it every quarter, so that you'll be able to judge, contractors who are doing well. And we will provide you with all the information, when the project started, how much it is, and so on and so forth. So I think the Department of Information, SA Media, and Human Resources should be able to engage this. When you have the names, you just give me, and we will assign you and give you the logistics to do that. Yes, Lagos Coastal Highway Section 1 that ends at the Deep Port is a very, very viable route, and we are committed to completing it. The work is presently going on in about 3 sections. That particular contractor has 10 mega concrete, pavement equipment. And so I inspected one section where they have 150 tippers at a go. So you can see seriousness, and we can make projections. And we are following them up with all the encouragement in terms of ESIA, in terms of paying for demolition, for compensation, and so on and so forth. This is very important. And the name of rules you asked, you will get them when you have this committee. And then you ask for our plans. Our plans are exactly what we have said. We are prioritizing projects. We are standing down some projects that don't have enough appropriation. We are going to stand down projects that we need up to 500% increase, 200% increase. It doesn't make sense. It can't be defended. And so we are going to review them. And if you need 500% increase, but you have up to 2 billion, we can review only the section that you can use that 2 billion to work. We can't review everything. So it could come to maybe about 10% or 20%, provided you have money in any of the funding models. We can't review projects that has 2 billion, then we review it, to 500, to 100 billion, 180 billion. We cannot ridicule ourselves. So these are the plans we have. So we get more serious with few of the projects that have funding provisions, while we put the rest in cooler, and as funds come in, we re-engage. Yeah. You ask your question and you propose vote of thanks.
Just means, did I notice my name and the nation newspapers? Sir, your statement about VOP, I just want to know, sir, whether it's going to affect the ongoing contract, or whether the ban on VOP is going to take off from
we didn't ban VOP. What we have said is that the contracts we are reviewing, we are using the prevailing market rates. That's what you said. And again, the claim on VOP is going to take a different dimension. In the past, people come up every time to say, I use 1 million liters of diesel. I use 2,000 liters of fuel. At what stage, shall we say no? You've made enough claims on volume of these items. It has no limit. No, we cannot continue like that. If you are putting for earthwork, because if your equipment that's supposed to take 100 liters is taking 200 liters, it should not be a problem. If you buy diesel and you get to site and it is stolen, it shouldn't be my problem. If you go to filling station and the meter is adjusted, then you get to say, it shouldn't be my problem. You can see, I tell you that this is send a thief to catch a thief, because I have been a contractor. So we need to know the volumes of these VOP items at the time of quoting for the job. And so you claim VOP on diesel separately on network. You claim VOP differently on asphalt. You claim VOP differently against the volume that we have agreed that should do the job. And not only that, that volume must be disaggregated to arrive at the unit rate. So it's not going to be, if you want to thief from the bank, you have to be clever enough to thief. You don't just, come and just take the distance. You need to, do some brain exercise. So to claim VOP, we are paying. But new projects we have reviewed, they are based on basic current prices. The ongoing projects, yes, we will continue to pay VOP, but we want you to tell us, the ones you collected, what were the volumes and how did they affect the unit rate you quoted? Tractor, I'm sure he understands me.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
My other concerns are about the status of the contractors we get some ultimatums sometimes are that they met with the timelines, and then the status of the roads under the HDMI projects, all the status. And sir, there was a threat from a group of contractors.
Because you are leaving a job, another person will engage the job and they will employ them. So they say that matter is indestructible. It can transform from one form to the other. Okay? So don't blackmail us. You know, we can't be blackmailed. I'm a fellow of Nigerian Society of Engineers. No matter how much you price yourself, I will get people that will do the job and do it better, and I'll put my signature on it. So there is no antiques that will work. What we work is to work and to accept the conditions. You know, some people say we are dictated because we know how lean the resources are. We cannot allow you to dictate for us because you are not the one paying the money. We know how little we have and we want to use it to do a good job. If the states can do with the little money they have, why shouldn't the federal government do the same thing? That is my challenge. When you tell the state governors how much we are using at the federal to do work, they mock us. Try to tell you are working for states. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Say track, we are working for states. JB, you are working for states. And I had to go and verify the prices you are using to do this work. And you are not delaying. You are not doing VOP. You are not hiding like this. It's better to break the law and save the lives of our people. You know, if you want to kill our people, I will terminate the contract. You can go to court, we meet you in court, but lives must be saved. Lives must be saved. Each time people, trucks are falling down, you know, is God requiring the blood from our hands because we didn't do what we're supposed to do. They didn't obey us, the ultimatum. They still defied it. They have not gone back to site, but I'm sure this week down the time will go back to site. CGC is already working. RUCC is now our friend. You know how they say police is your friend. So they will all go back to site. I assure you this week. Police is your friend. No, be so?